All right, so if you haven't already, please write your name at the top of your packet, your first and last name, okay? First and last name. This is Q1, week 5. Today's date is the 26th. Today's date is the 26th, okay? All right. This week, the assignments, of course, that are due, we have the warm up, we have the homework, and we have a quiz on Friday. The assessment on Friday is going to be on inequalities. Okay, we're going to do inequalities this week. We're going to focus on inequalities, and we're going to do word problems. Okay, equation and inequality word problems. So we're solving inequalities. Don't forget, it's the same rules. The same rules as solving an equation. The only thing that's different is if you multiply or divide both sides by a negative number, then that inequality is going to flip. And we're doing equation and inequality word problems. That's on our quiz at the end of the week. That gives us plenty of time to review these are the concepts we did last week and the week before. That kind of gives us plenty of time to review those things again and then assess it, see if you can get it right. Yes, baby. Are you going to be able to go to the homework this week? I got some of them wrong last week. Yeah, just make sure the beginning of class is the best time to tell me like you're doing now, but make sure you kind of try to do it on the next day that you already had it so that I can stay on track with that. But yes, I can do that. I'll just make sure I add it into my agenda, okay? All right, the essential questions are here. We're going to be justifying steps. We're going to go over properties today. That was the purpose of the note cards. We're going to put those properties on our note cards today. This week, probably either tomorrow or Wednesday, we'll start literal equations. That's where we're solving equations that have more than one variable in them. And we're just going to isolate one of them. It may say you may have a bunch of variables in one, but you're only solving for one of those variables. Okay. And I'll show you how to do that by using inverse operations. Okay. And then that's going to be what we're doing this week. Of course, I want to go back and make sure that you understand how to solve inequalities, how to solve equations, and how to do equation and inequality word problems for our quiz on Friday. Any questions about what the goal is for this week? Okay. All right. We're going to do the warm up. The agenda is on the board. We're going to do the warm up. And then I'm going to put properties on, we're going to put properties on note cards so that you can study your properties. Okay. And if we have time, we'll start model for you how to justify steps in an equation when solving an equation by using the properties that we're going to go over today. Okay. All right. Okay, let's look at the warm-up. Oh, before I go to the warm-up, let's write our homework down in our planner. Make sure you take out the planner. All right, our goal for this week, the second page in our planner. Well, technically, it's not really the second page. It's like the third or fourth page, but that's okay. In our planner, let's write down what our goal is. We got 9/26. My goal for this week for you is probably going to let's make sure I check homework. Last week, I think I did maybe 2 days out of the 3 days. So let's make sure that I consistently check your homework. That'll be my goal to shoot for is to make sure that I check the homework. Okay, and then somebody said they wanted to go over the homework, so I'll put that down as one of my goals as well. All right, you write your goal down for this week. What is your goal going to be for this week? And remember, you have to have little sub goals in order to reach that main goal at the end. Any questions? Remember, y'all, the planner is for a grade. Please go back and get your planner from your teacher, your homeroom teacher, because everyone has a planner that's supposed to be given to them. Okay. Let's turn to the next page. Yes, baby. In our planner.
Is it like an actual grade?
It's an actual grade, yes.
Oh, so it's not extra credit?
No, it's an actual grade. Yeah, it's a project grade. There you go. You remember.
Do you have any planners, Miss?
I only have one for each one of my kids, and the extra one I use for my different classes. Okay, so you need to go and get one, and I can make a copy. I'll make a copy of these little pages that's like this, and you won't have a planner, but it'll just be a staple piece of paper. Okay? Your homeroom teacher is there still, you ask that person, they can get them from the office. It doesn't matter if it's a sub or not, they get them from the office. Yes, baby. So just restaple. It's a staple machine up here. All right, so we got math 1. Oh, sorry. At the top, this is 9/26 through 9/30. This is the last week in September, y'all. This is Q1W5. Put that at the top. Top here also, 9/26. Through 9/30. Q1W5. Right. We're going to go back to Monday. And I'll make copies for people that don't have this sheet. And you'll just have to, it'll just be pages, but it's better than nothing, okay? So we got math 1. And today, watch the homework help video. It's optional. Completing the homework is not optional, so make sure you complete homework for tonight. Monday is what we're getting ready to label it as, and we need to study. Tonight we need to study our notes in our notebook, probably break it down. We need to study equations and inequalities, or you can study inequalities tonight, make sure you understand it, equations tomorrow, but all week you need to be studying those things so that you can be successful on your quiz on Friday. Okay? Tutoring this week. Anybody have any available days in the afternoon? Anybody need tutoring? Want to ask? Yes. What day do you have available? Oh, then don't ask. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah, but I can't help you if you don't have no days available. What am I supposed to do? No, on what? On what? What do you need help with? I didn't say. I know how to record a video. You just need to tell me what you need help with.
Pretty much all. I mean, I didn't do good on stuff last week.
Okay, so last week objectives. All right. All right. If I do it for one, I'm just gonna send it out.
I'm a little bit
Yeah, y'all gotta make time. Just like me, I live a busy life too, but I just make the time. I mean, I'm maybe more busier than some of you, but you just gotta make time for things that that you know are super important. Okay, even if it ain't but for 30 minutes, you need to do that. All right, so let's do it. Warm up. Let me pause for the calls. Please complete the warm up. If you don't have enough space on here, you can write it on a separate piece of paper. I'm probably going to write mine on a separate piece of paper. All right, so let's look at this. The first one. Remember, problems like this will be on your quiz at the end of the week. So it's super important that if you don't know how to do it, that you pay attention to how you're supposed to do it. Raise your hand or stop me if I'm doing a step that you don't understand. All right, so I'm going to just copy. I have 2x minus 15x, okay? We got greater than or equal to 27 minus 4x. So first thing is distributive property. I'm using the same steps that I used with solving equations. Please stop whatever it is you're doing and watch me do this just to make sure you 100% understand. And then I'll let you finish it up. Parker, you ready? Okay. So the first step is distributive property. Do you see distributive property? No. Okay, good.
Here's what I found.
No, don't. I ain't trying to hear that. Now, the next one is to combine like terms on each side separately. So let's look at this side. Are there anything that I can combine over here? What does this give me? Negative 13x. Bring down the greater than or equal to. Is there anything I can combine over here? No, so I bring this down. Any questions about that step? So distributive property, combine like terms separately on each side. Any questions about those two steps? The next step. What is the next step? Any guesses? Move the variables to the same side. Very good. Either I'm going to move negative 13x over here or negative 4x over here. Which one is going to be better in this case? Negative 4x. Okay. How do I move a minus or a negative 4x? I add 4x. Excellent. Use inverse operations to move terms. What's negative 13x plus 4x? Negative 9x. Excellent. Bring down the greater than or equal to. This is 0. That's gone. And I'm left with 27. Any questions? Okay. Go ahead. What's your question, baby?
Oh, I just messed up.
Okay. Stop writing. Don't write. Just watch. And then, because every time you start writing, you miss something that I do. So just wait. So now, look. You see there's no distributive property, correct? Okay. Do you see that we combine these like terms and that gave us this, correct? We didn't combine these terms because they're not alike, so we just brought them down. Do you understand that? Okay. Now we're going to move the variables to the same side. So the one that we chose to move is this one. This is a minus 4x. So to move it, we add 4x to both sides. Do you understand that? Okay. When I combine these, when I add 4x to this negative 13, I get negative 9. Do you understand that? This is 0, and I'm left with 27. So we good now? All right. So now how do I get x by itself? What do? I divide both sides by what? A negative 9. A negative 9 to get x by itself. Okay? Negative 9 divided by a negative 9 gives me a positive 1x. Any questions? Okay? When I divided, or because I divided both sides by a negative number, what's going to happen to the inequality? It's going to flip. Now it's less than or equal to. Okay? What's 27 divided by a negative 9? Negative 3. And this is our answer. So let's think. What are our possible solutions here? What are some possible answers here? What can I put in this place? Negative 4, somebody said. Yes. What else? Negative 8. What about, can I put negative 3 here? Yes, I can put negative 3 there. Okay. Because why? Because it's equal to. So now let's shade. We're going to find negative 3 on the number line, which is right here. And we're going to put an open circle there. Now we're going to shade all possible solutions. Are my possible solutions, do we shade to the right or to the left? The left, because it's smaller than. These are where my possible answers are. Are we going to shade in the circle or leave it open? Shade it in. Why am I going to shade in the circle? Because it's equal to. Because negative 3 is a possible solution.
I always got confused on that last year. I never knew any shape.
You get it. Anybody else? Anthony, I know you just came in. Do you understand this, babe? Okay. Good job, babe. All right, so let's do number 2. Okay, so I'm going to do number 2. We're going to write number 2 down. All right, no, let me give you a chance to copy and make the correction first before I move to number 2. Sorry about that, y'all. Try number 2. Okay, so number 2, we have negative 30 plus 9x greater than 18x minus 3x. First step is distributive property. Do we have distributive property here? No, we don't. Skip the first step. The second step is to combine like terms on either side of that inequality. Can we combine these two terms here? No, so bring it down. Yes, baby? I do here. All right, so let's bring this side down. Bring down the greater than sign as well. Okay, what about the other side? Can I combine these terms? And what does that give me? That gives me 15x, okay? So we get 15x there. All right. Any questions about that step? Okay. So now we are going to move the variables to the same side. Which one makes the most sense to move? The 9x. How do we move a positive 9x? Subtract. Use inverse operations. The opposite of addition is subtraction. Nine x minus 9x is 0, and I'm left with negative 30. Bring down the inequality, the greater than sign. What's 15x minus 9x? 6x. Okay. Now what are we going to do to get x by itself? Divide by 6 on both sides. What's negative 30 divided by a positive 6? It's negative 5. Bring down the greater than. Why am I going to keep the inequality the same? Very good, because you divide it by a positive, not a negative. The only time you flip it is when you divide or multiply both sides by a negative number. So this is what you have. Or you can write it, put the x over here, and you can write it like this. These two mean the exact same thing. The negative 5 is still bigger. What are my possible solutions here? What are my possible solutions here? Negative 10, negative, not negative 5, negative 6. Give me one more. Negative 21. Okay, very good. These are my possible solutions. Can negative 5 be a possible solution? No, Parker, it can't, because it's no equal to, right? The question was, can negative 5 be a solution? And the answer is no, because there's no equal here. So now let's graph it. Can somebody tell me how would I graph that inequality? X less than a negative 5. Where do I put my circle, my open circle? Find negative 5 on the number line, put an open circle there. Where do I shade? To the left or to the right? The left. Less than. To the left. Okay, do I shade in the circle or do I leave it open? Leave it open. Why leave it open? Because it's not equal to. Okay? Any questions about how I graph that? Yes, baby. Because my possible solutions are smaller. This is less than. Do you see that? Because my possible values are smaller than negative 5. It's the same thing. I just flipped it so you can see that it's exactly the same. This is saying which one's bigger, negative 5 or x?
I forgot which way to sign.
The mouth is open to the bigger one. So negative 5 is bigger. Which one's bigger here? The mouth is open to the bigger. Negative 5.
Wait, did we flip the sign?
We didn't flip the sign. Look, the sign is not flipped. This is another way to write it. Why? I put x over here and 5 over here. The mouth is still open to the negative 5. This is just, it's exactly the same thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know what he said. What did you say, babe?
Two answers are confusing me.
What two answers? They're the same thing. All I did was flip it around. It's the same thing.
Oh.
It's the
Same thing. The mouth is still open to -5. The mouth is still open to -5. It's the same thing, y'all. Y'all, please try not to make things so
It just
difficult.
confused me because there was two answers.
Yeah, you're kind of making it a little bit more complicated, but it's okay. We're kind of getting used to it. All right, number 3. It's gonna be all right. As the year goes on, you'll start to understand things more. No, it's not. Well, I mean, if you say that, then yeah. You got to learn how to speak life into a situation, not death.
It's gonna be so great. I'm gonna have.
Thank you. All right, let's keep going. What's the first step? Distributive property. Anthony, what's wrong? Okay, sit up, baby. Distributive property is first. What's -3 times 11? Good job. What's -3 times 6x? Good job. Okay. Bring this down. Bring this side down. Okay. Distributive property is first. All right, what's the next step? Combine like terms first. Can I combine these terms? No, they're not like. What about these? No. So then we move the variables to the same side. Which one do you want to move? -9. Somebody said that one first. It doesn't matter which one, but just I'm doing this one because they said that first. How do you move a -9 to this side? You're going to add 9 to both sides. I would say if I didn't want to deal with negatives, I would move the 18, okay? But it's okay. All right. You're going to get the same answer either way. All right, so we bring down the -33. What's -18x plus 9x? -9x. Bring down the less than. This is gone, so we bring down the -42. All right, let's look at it. Make sure that you understand those steps before I move on. Okay? All right, let's move to the next step. Now, what do I do to isolate x? Okay, so how do I do that? How do I get rid of -33? Add 33 to both sides. Please make sure that you are listening because some of you that are checking out, you go back later and say, well, I didn't understand that part. I need help with this. I need help with that. But I'm going over it now. So please focus. Okay. Please focus. This is gone and I'm left with -9x. Bring down my less than sign. What's -42 plus 33? Say again. I didn't hear you. -9. Okay. Now what do I do to get x by itself? Divide by this -9 right here that's attached by multiplication. So we're going to divide both sides by -9. What's -9 divided by -9? 1. So we're left with 1x. What happens to the inequality? It flips. Why does it flip? Very good. What's a -9 divided by a -9? +1. So our answer is +1. What's another way to write this? If I put 1 over here and x over here, where the mouth should be open to which one? The mouth should be open to the what?
X.
It should be open to the x. You see how it's open to the x? Do you see? These are exactly the same. They are the same. Okay? You see how they're the same? The mouth is open to the x here. The mouth is open to the x here. You got to get used to understanding that these have the same meaning. All right, so now let's graph. All right, open circle. Where do I put my circle? Above what number?
1.
Above the 1. Am I going to shade to the left or to the right? All right, all my possible solutions. Okay, what's a possible solution? 2. What else? 3. 10. Okay, as long as it's bigger than what number? Can it be 1? How do we know it cannot be 1? There's no equal. So am I going to shade to the left or to the right? To the right. Am I going to shade in the circle or leave it open? Leave it open. There's no equal to. Okay. Any questions? All right. The last one. We're going to do distributive property there first. Got 57 minus 12x. What inequality is this right here? What inequality is this? I can't hear you. Say it louder. It's okay if you're wrong. It's greater than or equal to. That's all right. The mouth is open. This is greater than or equal to. The L, when you do your hands like this, the one that makes the L is the less than sign. The backwards L is the greater than sign. Okay? Your L, when you do your L's like this in your hand, the one that make your, this is an L. Baby cheeks. The L is less than, this is your less than symbol. And this is the backwards L, this is your greater than. Okay. All right. So let's do what first? What's the first step? Good job, baby. Distributive property. I'm going to bring this down. Bring it down. All right. What's 5 times x? 5x. What's 5 times negative 9? Negative 45. 45. All right. So now what are we going to do? What's the next step? Right. There's no like terms to combine on either side. So skip that step. And you're right. Move the variables to the same side. Which one do you want to move? All right. How do you move a 5x? Subtract 5x. Remember, if you don't want to deal with negatives, move the smaller one. Okay. All right. So here, this gives me 57. This gives me minus what? 17x. Bring down the inequality. This is gone. That's 0. So what am I left with on this side? Negative 45. 40. All right. So now, what do we have to do to get x by itself? Subtract 57.
I was going to add 17, but that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, no. But at least you figured that out, babe. All right. So 57 minus 57 is 0. And you're left with negative 17x. Bring down the inequality. Greater than or equal to. What is this going to give me on this side?
Negative 102.
Negative 102. Okay. Now what are we going to do? Divide both sides by a negative 17. What's negative 17 divided by negative 17? 1x. You're right. What's going to happen to this inequality? It's going to flip. So now it's going to be less than or equal to. And what does this give me here? Positive 6. Okay. What's another way to write this inequality? If I put 6 over here and x over here. Very good. The mouth is open to the 6. Okay. So this is another way to see that. What are my possible solutions? Okay, 6 or less. So that's 6. What else? 5. Negative 5. So on and so forth. Okay, please make sure you write that down and make sure that you grab. Okay, let's put this, let's label the homework. And the warm-up, did you not finish writing it, babe? Here, you can use my sheet. Can you pass this over to him? Yeah, it probably fell apart, so I'll just get you another one. Yeah, it's a little sloppy. I'm sorry. All right, here we go. Let's label. Can you read it? Okay. Monday. There we go. We can go ahead and label the other ones Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay. Where do I put my work to do? Thank you. Here, babe, come pick this up. It's one also. Get one that's back there, baby. It's in the yellow folder. Hey, Susie, where's Susie? Oh, sorry. Check out, Jesus. I'm sorry. I hope you guys feel better. I told y'all it's a lot of stuff going around. Don't forget your phone. To what? Oh, where's the other Jesus? Oh. Now, which one of y'all know you going home? Didn't your parent tell you? What's your last name?
I like Jesus.
Go ahead and put that in your folder, please. Take out your note cards. All right, here we go. Take out your note cards. All right, on your first note card, we're going to write the word on the front. It's commutative property. We got commutative property. The first one is commutative property of addition. Commutative property of addition. Yeah. Nah, it doesn't. Commutative property of addition. Yes, sir.
Is this the stuff from last week that we made that folder?
Yes.
Oh, I need to.
All right. Commutative property of addition is changing the order of. Huh? Is when you're changing the order of the numbers. Changing the order of the numbers. That's the definition. Changing the order of the numbers. It's a yes. Yes. We only did one. Hold on. All right. So who cares what he said? All right. Commutative property. Changing the order of the numbers. What makes it commutative property of addition is because you're using addition. All right, so this is what this looks like. You may have A plus B, which are numbers, is equal to B plus A. The only thing that changed is the order of the numbers, okay? They have the same value. A plus B is the same as saying B plus A, okay? This is commutative property of addition because the order of the numbers change and we're using addition. Next card. Commutative property of multiplication. Commutative property of multiplication. Commutative property of multiplication. Shh. Flip the card over. This one is going to be changing the order of numbers again, but this time you're using multiplication. You're changing the order of the numbers again, but this time you're using multiplication. What does that look like, Ms. Reyes? That looks like this. I have A times B, or AB, same thing. On this side is equal to B times A. Okay, same thing. It's automatically multiplication between those variables. Okay, A times B is the same as saying B times A. This is commutative property because the order changed. It's commutative property of multiplication because you're using multiplication. Yes, sir. You can do even A times B times C, and over here you can do C times B times A. You can put the dots or not, okay? Any questions? Commutative property of addition is changing the order of the numbers using addition. Commutative property of multiplication is changing the order of the numbers using multiplication. Any questions? There is no such thing as commutative property of subtraction because changing the order of the numbers and subtracting them are going to give you two different values. 5 minus 2 is not the same as 2 minus 5. They are not equal. So there is no such thing as commutative property of subtraction. There is no such thing as commutative property of division because 2 divided by 1 is different from 1 divided by 2. They are not equal. Any questions about there being no such thing as commutative property of subtraction or division? Okay, third card. Associative property. Associative property. This one is associative property of addition. Okay, turn over to the back side. Associative property is changing the grouping of numbers. Changing the grouping of numbers. Okay. Associative property of addition is changing the grouping of a numbers, but you're using addition. Okay. Show you what this looks like. Raise your hand so I'll get a hint who's still writing the definition. Okay, I'll wait a second. All right, so changing the grouping of numbers using addition. On this side, you might have A plus B plus C. And in parentheses over here, it may be BC. Okay, keep in mind, you see that addition sign that's here? It's an addition sign between all of these. Okay, and on this side, you still have A plus B plus C because the order of the numbers stayed the same. But over here, you're going to put A and B in parentheses. So you're going to add AB first and then C. This is associative property of addition because the groups change. Over here, B and C are dating. Then over here, A and B are dating. Okay? The grouping change, but the order of the numbers stayed the same. A, B, C, A, B, C. Okay? Any questions? Okay, put your note cards together. We're not finished with the note cards. We're going to finish it tomorrow. Oh, help me, God. We're going to finish the note cards tomorrow. Put your calculators back, please. Pick up your cell phone.